welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the Privacy Edition. These are recorded live Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before we jump on in, you can help support the channel by checking out our affiliate links. Today we are highlighting private internet access. This is a VPN that will allow you to connect 10 devices simultaneously. They have servers in over 48 different countries, and we're back up to the 2-year plan. We got the 2-year plan back. I didn't check out my promotions before we started. For $70, you get 2 full years of access. For $40, you can get your 1 year of access, or you can go $9.95 a month. I also have ExpressVPN and a few other ones at switchedtolinux.com/affiliates. But let's go ahead and dive on into the news for this week. Privacy news. Google is on a mission to stop you from reusing your passwords. This is more of an update article than anything else. So Google has, we've talked about it before, this password checking system. It is a little bit creepy, but fairly private, in that what it's going to do is the Google services are going to take your password, they're going to hash it, and then they're just going to take the first portion of that hash and then send that up to the servers, and they're going to check that against leaked passwords, common passwords, and things like this. And then they're going to send you back some information that may indicate your password could have some issues with it. And they had that as a standalone feature, but now Google is rolling this out to all of their various services. So expect to get some annoying notices from Google soon about this password looks like it could be compromised or something like that, because, you know, you're doing a super secret password of 123456, but Google thinks you just did 12345, and the hash of those, the first part of that hashes look the same. And so, you know, you're just kind of, Google's going to warn you about that. But don't worry, you've added that 6th character. Your password is infinitely more secure. So they are adding the security checkup to all of their different properties, is what this article is telling us here from The Verge. One of the worst things on the internet. Well, look at all of this. Anymore, I'm pretty sure that Verge, Ars Tech, all the places I usually get to look at my articles, I'm pretty sure that they are puppets for the New World Order. They're just trying to slowly pass away. Oh, you need to have the passwordless stuff, which, by the way, we're getting there in a moment. Somebody else is doing some passwordless stuff, but passwords are one of the worst things on the internet. That's right. We should all be using our fingerprints and our iris scans. You know, things that can't be changed. For the love, people, for the love. No, you shouldn't be using your phone numbers either. Things like this. Passwords are easy to change. You just got to teach people to do them right. Passwords are one of the worst things on the internet, he says. The New World Order puppet says, they're the worst things on the internet. And from the director of account security, identity, and abuse told The Verge, though they are essential for security and help people log into many apps and websites, they're one of the primary, if not the primary way people actually end up getting compromised. Well, just don't use the President Scrooge's luggage password, and you will be just fine, people, okay? Have yourself a good, real password. And I have to take a small parenthetical. Please forgive me for taking a small parenthetical, but I am so sick of banks and other big financial institutions like, your account security is so important to us. Then remove my phone number, for crying out loud. Some of them are allowing you to, some of them are not. I'm still negotiating with 2 of them right now about it. I do have phone numbers removed from over half my accounts. My corporate account still has a number tied. I'm trying to get that off. And I have an investment account. I'm trying to get the number off of that one as well. So we'll figure out what we can do. We tried actually just entering 555-555-555. That didn't work. The system freaked out about that. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But what is it with all these companies? And they're like, we're going to change your password every 3 months. Yeah, except every security person that's actually on the ball with this kind of stuff says that's the stupidest thing to do. You end up getting seriously predicted passwords. So anyway, let's end parenthetical, dive right on back in. Basically, the gist of this is that Google is going to be pushing out that password check feature to all of their various properties. Andrew Yang, remember this guy? Former presidential candidate who stepped down. Now he is pushing big tech to pay users for data. I have to look at this and go, you know what? This is a good thing. This is a good thing. Because if I say, okay, my price, guys, $5 million per character in my name, hey, you can have all the information that I want. But if you're like, well, we'll pay you $5 for your data. Nah, I reject your puny offer. Counter with something a little bit better, and we'll think about something else. But anyway, he's calling it the Data Dividend Project. So he wants you to get paid for the data they create on these platforms like Facebook and Google. And the new project launching Monday, he believes he can make it happen. Yeah, right. Yang's Data Dividend Project is a new program tasked with establishing data as property rights under privacy laws like the California Consumer Privacy Act. I support that kind of approach. If my data is my property, I can say, no, you do not have my permission to have your data. This could be a step in the right direction, although I just can't wait to see what type of abuses might come out of something like this. So let's just kind of leave it at this. Let me know what you guys think. Is this data project good? Maybe I need to investigate this further and maybe do a whole separate video on it. I don't know. That might be a neat, fun little project to do. All right, speaking of passwordless logins, Safari 14, the latest Safari in the new Apple releases, actually now has pushing the passwordless logins for websites. So this is if the website supports these types of logins. So we have the FIDO Alliance, FIDO and FIDO2, WebAuth components, which are basically, these are the components that look at securities using things other than passwords for verifications, like your YubiKeys or biometrics or voice prints or all sorts of other scary 1984-esque type approaches outside of the YubiKeys. You can get new ones of those. But they're trying to tie these in with your biometrics on your laptops. And so Safari, and on your phones and iPads and stuff. So Safari is working on utilizing those as means of biometrically logging into websites so you do not need to enter passwords. Which, again, passwords, easy to change. Fingerprints, not easy to change. Definitely stick with the passwords, people. Trust me, you're not going to lose out a whole lot on life if you have to lose 35 seconds typing in a password. Maybe 60 if you went for something really crazy and complicated. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into our next article here. Apps such as TikTok are secretly snooping on your phone's clipboard, and Apple is only half addressing it. All right, so this is actually something that's not particularly new, and it actually turns out that several apps have the ability to snoop on the clipboard. The concern that they said is many people use the clipboard for storing passwords or other sensitive or personal data, and any application on iOS, despite its reputation for the deep privacy of everything, what we're seeing here is that several apps can actually grab anything you paste on the clipboard at any point in time and use this data tied into your account profiles and things like that. Of course, TikTok is the biggest and most profile app doing this approach. Let's see, they submitted their findings to Apple back in January, but told there's no issue with this behavior, calling it intended behavior. Sure, apps can improve your experience by accessing your clipboard, mainly shipping apps that automatically pick up a tracking number you copied, speeding up the process or making it more seamless. On the other hand, people often carry very sensitive information on their clipboards, including phone numbers, addresses, credit card information, and most importantly, passwords and 2FA codes. Well, stop getting those texted to your phone number. All right. Misk included in their blog post a non-exhaustive list of apps that snoop on your clipboard data. The list includes 17 news apps, 19 games, 7 social media apps, and a bunch of weather, travel, and shopping-related apps. There's a considerable uptick in adoption of password managers over the few years. They work by generating strong passwords that you never need to remember because they stay locked in a secure vault and you just copy them when needed. So therefore, all these guys can kind of grab your passwords. And if they're storing this data, somebody can actually target an individual user, hack that service if they can get into that service, and trust me, with enough interest they can, and then they can grab the various passwords, different accounts, and try and work out which accounts you're using based on the types of things in the clipboard, which is an interesting attack approach. But hey, we're going to see how some other things are happening here soon. All right, on to the article you guys all tuned in for. Does the Mozilla-Comcast deal comfort you? Don't worry, Comcast is not buying Mozilla, and certainly Mozilla is not buying Comcast. What the deal is deals with the DNS over HTTPS. And if you are using Firefox and you happen to be on a Comcast internet connection, they're going to automatically attach Mozilla's DNS over HTTPS to Comcast's server. Does that comfort you? Now, I'm going to remind you of some things. Why do I believe that DNS over HTTPS is a bad idea? It is a horrid idea. It is something that should have never been implemented at all. If you are a parent trying to keep your children off of nasty places on the internet, DNS over HTTPS will get around all of that. If you are on a network that blocks ads or other nefarious things or various websites, DNS over HTTPS overrides that. Anything you do on your local computer host file, DNS over HTTPS overrides that. Now, the original concern is we're going to do this to secure those DNS encryptions, and part of it was, hey, this is going to be good to prevent your ISPs from spying on you. Except they're working on deals now, not just with Comcast, but several other ISPs, so that those ISPs have their own DNS, encrypted DNS services, and then Firefox will eventually be detecting whoever your ISP is, and then automatically configure your DNS over HTTPS to use their particular HTTPS DNS lookups. Yeah, problematic. Now, I am not certain if this gets around a VPN or not. It probably does not get around a VPN. But it could. I have not personally tested it. That would be a good test for me to do and report back. But what's going on here is, the thing is that I don't trust Comcast at all. I certainly don't. Now, of course, the most hilarious part about this entire thing down here is this quote from Comcast. Is it on this article or is it on another article? Might have been on another article. But literally, okay. Here it is. Joining Mozilla's program means that Comcast agreed that it won't retain, sell, or transfer to any third party except that might be required by law any personal information, IP addresses, or other user identifiable information or user query patterns from DNS queries sent from the Firefox browser, along with some other requirements. Oh yeah, I really trust Comcast to do that. Do you trust Comcast to do that? Because I will tell you something. I believe that Comcast is going to so abuse this, Firefox is going to look like the schoolyard bully who was used to steal his candy. Firefox is getting so played right now, it may as well transform its name to Fire Organ. Because Comcast is fiddling the little keys. They're fiddling the little keys. This makes me look at Firefox and go, what in the world are you doing? For the love. So that's the deal. Ultimately, I do not like DNS over HTTPS. I think there are a lot of fundamental problems with it when implemented directly in your browser. If you can do that on your router, that is definitely a fine thing. From your computer, maybe. From your browser, oh heck no. It gets around all sorts of security profiles that you have, and you are now completely dependent on browser extensions. I have worked with WordPress long enough to know the WordPress core is just fine. You start adding extensions, you have security vulnerabilities. Same thing is going to happen if we are relying on extensions for Firefox and other things. So there you have it. There's what Comcast and Firefox are up to. Does that comfort you, or does that make you go, all of a sudden Google Chrome looks fascinating? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.